Hi there, welcome. Welcome to Homekeepers. Come right on in, my friends. So glad to be here with you today. We've been on the air a long time and we keep getting these new friends. It is fabulous. But for those who have been with us for several years, you will remember my guest because this is the day that Dr. David Clarke is with us. He's with us once a month. And if you haven't met Dr. Clarke, he is a Christian psychologist. And I'm telling you, one of the best. He's written, I think the last time I counted, about 13 books. We're going to talk about his newest one today called Enough is Enough. And this deals with if you're in an abusive relationship and how you can get out of it. I don't think the Lord called any of you to be abused, year after year. And when I saw the title, I thought, so just leave. And then when I read the book, I discovered it's not that easy. This is a very, very valuable book for anyone who might be living with constant abuse. It gives you a plan, and I'll let him explain that when he joins me. And I'm going to join Stephanie for some best ever pepper steak. This is one of those that has ginger in it and bell peppers, you know, that kind of combination flavor. Just kind of Asian, and it's wonderful. So we'll put it together and see how it tastes. Before I join her, though, I want to remind you we are viewer supported. Just before I came downstairs, I signed a whole bunch of letters to some of you precious people who give to the program, sometimes 2 or 3 times a year, sometimes on a very, very regular basis. But it is a joy to read your letters and then to respond to them, and I enjoy signing those letters, and I thank God for you. So, as I said, we are viewer supported, and you can do it a couple ways. You can do it with your 800 number with your phone, or you can write to me at Homekeepers Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida 33758, and we will respond and thank you so much. And beyond that, the Lord will bless you. I told you before, I'm a giver. I'm a regular giver, and the Lord responds to those who give. Without question, it might not be tomorrow, but He will. So thank you in advance for anything you can do. And I've joined Sister Stephanie over here. This looks like a very colorful.
Yes, yes. So I love meat. So I'm a meat and potatoes girl, just like my husband, which is...
Now this asked for flank steak, which I couldn't find. So whatever that is.
So
it's a thin slice.
Yeah, so it's just thin slice. Yeah. So you can always adjust.
Kind of beef.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can always adjust. So you have soy sauce, rice wine vinegar, brown sugar, and cornstarch. You're going to mix that all together, and that's going to make a sauce.
And we know it tastes good.
Yeah, and I have the flank steak in here that I'm cooking up, and I have the red peppers and the green peppers. And I'm going to let that saute for a minute. Then I'm going to put in ginger and garlic. This is definitely a...
I love
Asian.
the color.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful, right? And then you serve this over rice. You have a super easy meal.
Now, you have given our viewers such really great hints for fixing things in advance. On this one, what would you do? Would you just have everything chopped up?
Right. Yeah, because you can freeze all of this.
Oh, yes.
And you could even have this all chopped up, because while you're making it, chop up the extra, put it all in a Ziploc bag. You pull that Ziploc bag, you throw it in you have a meal.
Yep.
Super simple. Okay, so we have garlic.
I'm telling you, it's got the flavor.
Smell that. Ginger.
Yeah, that's fresh ginger.
Yes.
Nothing like it.
Yeah. So I'm going to let this saute for a moment. I'm going to put that yummy sauce that you made, which was the soy sauce, the rice wine vinegar.
You went someplace over this weekend.
I went a few places this weekend. I had an amazing weekend. I went for lunch out at the Columbia with a good friend. And
She's a social butterfly.
We sat on the water and the breeze was blowing. It was like a little 1 hour vacation, It was so amazing. And then on Sunday, I went to Nook and Cranny and did a workshop there and made some signs with my daughter. It was so much fun. It was just a wonderful weekend all around. Church was amazing. Just everything was really, really good.
Who was telling me since we got back to work?
Put the sauce in here?
They went to Columbia. Was that you?
I did, yeah.
Okay, Columbia Restaurant on Clearwater Beach. It's divine. I
They
go
have
there
the
with
be-
friends quite regularly.
I always
sometimes.
get the 1905 salad. It's the
Yes,
best salad
and the
ever.
Spanish bean soup. Now, I was driving to work this morning, and you know what I heard on the news? The #1 beach in America
Yep.
is Clearwater Beach.
Yep, I could not
We
disagree
should not
more.
say that.
I
They'll
could not
come.
disagree more. No.
Florida is full.
We're full.
Okay? Yeah,
Pinellas
we're full.
County is full. I'm telling you, they
Yeah.
keep building apartment complexes and car dealerships. I'm not sure what's happening, but we have like a Jaguar. We have a Mercedes-Benz. I'm like, you are in Pinellas Park, Florida. Do you know that? So I guess
Yeah,
they're
we-
destination car dealerships.
But have you ever seen such big apartment?
Oh, the apartment.
Everywhere.
Don't even get me going.
I just want to say,
I live 8 minutes from work, and that is my limit.
do you know why they're coming? A lot of them are coming here. It's because states like New York and California have humongous taxes, state taxes, and people say, I've had it. So they're coming here, but we're full, so go
We're
to
full.
Texas.
Look
They
how
don't-
beautiful that is.
Yes.
That looks like a professional restaurant meal.
Well, don't we always turn out things like
Not
that?
always. Okay, so give me your plate here.
Put it on some rice.
Oh, look at this. Come on, you can have this at home. Do the eat at home challenge like I've been doing. It saves a ton of money.
Yeah.
A ton.
And just a little piece of beef.
That's all you need. Yep.
And this one,
So good.
boy, that was fast.
I know, right? And if you had that all cut up and everything and in the freezer and you just had to throw it in the pan, you could have dinner in 10 minutes. They're all saying it smells really good because it does.
Well, y'all have to run your cameras till the show's over.
So delicious.
That is out of this world. What would you pay for that in a restaurant?
A lot. A lot more than you pay for it at home.
But
I'm
my mouth
telling
is
you.
full, so tell them where they can get the.
Okay, so if you want the recipe, the information will come up on the screen. You can have it emailed to you, which is easiest, but we'll also do snail mail. But we ask that you do a self-addressed stamped envelope, please. Right?
All right, I'm going to talk to Dr. Clarke, and if you haven't met him, you're going to love him. We love him.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, you may receive it by contacting us through social media as listed on the screen. When requesting a copy through the mail, be sure to include a self-addressed stamped envelope. Thank you, and please know we always appreciate hearing from our viewers.
It's nice to have you back, Dr. Clarke.
Great to be back.
And I thought, let's do a little biographical sketch. We've got new viewers and all.
Yeah.
When you were a little boy this high, did you say, I want to grow up to be a psychologist and talk to people whose marriages are in trouble?
No.
Want to be a
I was
fireman?
going to be Superman. I had a little Superman outfit with a cape, and I tried to jump and fly. That didn't work out. So I went to Plan B.
So, okay, so at what point did you know Plan B was the right B?
Probably
Right plan.
middle through high school. My dad, I'm doing the same thing my dad did for years. Mostly marriage counseling, some individual counseling. He wrote books and he did seminars, both marriage and parenting seminars. So I thought, you know what, he's making a difference. He'd come home, he couldn't talk about specific people, but he'd talk about the impact and a marriage, God saving a marriage. I thought, you know what, that's what I want to do. Because I love people and they're fascinating to me, so I'm doing just what I'm supposed to be doing.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree.
It did not.
And also, I would like to say, Dr. Clarke is bedrock biblical. That's one thing I've always appreciated about you.
I better be. My mother would have my head and my dad if I wasn't.
So better stay on track.
I'm telling you.
Now, I saw somewhere one of your books was getting quite a bit of notice. I don't know on a website or something, but I don't want a divorce or something.
God is really using that. Focus on the Family has done shows on that. We're seeing a big response. The title captures people's attention. If you're desperate to save your marriage, you have to have a plan to do so. Well, I got a plan for you. I think it's God's plan, but it works.
Yes, and so I think we'll put up your website. You've got more than one, but we'll put up the
There's a
common
main
one, the main one, yes, because I would absolutely encourage you to go there. Any kinds of relationship problems, you might see a book there that he's written. Because one thing about your books too, your titles do kind of explain what they're about.
They do. They're very simple, they're basic, they're biblical. I tell people I have a book for everything. You name it, I got a book for it.
He wrote, I'm not okay and neither are you.
That's right.
There we go. Yeah. Now, I have to admit, I think I did at the top show, when I got this, I thought, how do you write a book on how to leave an abusive person? Just go. And when I got into it, I discovered how wrong I was. What was it that really prompted you to write it?
Well, all the clients over the years, and it's in the last probably 8 to 10 years, I think the narcissistic, abusive men are off the charts. We're just spawning them as a society. So all the ladies I've seen, how do I get out? I'm desperate. I thought, you know what? I would walk them through a series of steps. I thought, I need to write a book on this because there needs to be some simple, practical, biblical manual. And I also wanted to make it clear that God is saying, get out. I don't go to divorce, that's his business. But you're going to have a secret plan, you're going to leave, and from a position of safety and security and financial security, and your kids are prepared, then you give the guy a chance to make the change.
Yes, and that is, I've read the book, an exact representation of what it is. And what I got so shocked was all of the points you do give. Now, I wrote down a list. Now, were these guys pretty nice in the courtship?
Oh, they're masters of the romantic genre. Smooth, they lie like a rug. You think they're the greatest guy in the world. They can fool the brightest woman on earth. Everything, they'll go for a year or two wooing you. Yeah, you think you're getting the real thing.
I've read several accounts through the years of perfect, he was Mr. Perfect, and then not long after you say I do and sign the license, he turns into a totally different person.
Oh, yeah. Just literally seconds after the wedding. I'm telling you, it's almost classic. We got in the car and he slapped my face, or he got upset over this. Oh yeah, once they've closed the deal, you're a possession.
And we're talking about abusive. Now here's your list. Verbal abuse, neglecting your needs, refusing to communicate. Yeah. That's a mean one.
Oh, that kills a woman.
Yeah.
He'll just shut down for weeks and months on end.
That goes with the silent treatment too, right?
Oh yeah, you can't get a word out of him.
And he doesn't like your family.
Never, no.
And he's a control freak.
Right.
Financially irresponsible.
Oh yeah, spending. It's almost universal that they are in control of the money. Your name is not on anything. If you're a nice wife, he may give you an allowance, and you have to beg for money, or he'll just blow it at the casino, or he can spend whatever he wants to spend.
On anything.
Yeah, whatever, you cannot.
Yeah. A lazy slacker.
Oh yeah. You know what? He's got some form of government assistance, or not even that. He stops working. He's 40 years old. He's 50. He's not done yet, but he is done, and you're now going to carry the show. Pitiful.
Anger outbursts, violent, alcoholic, drug addicted, and unfaithful. Those kind of stand out.
Yeah.
But some of these others, are women schooled? I've got a two-pronged question. Are women schooled that, okay, that's the way it is, you kind of have to take it? And also, have you ever counseled a man in how to leave?
Oh yeah, two
Really?
good questions. Oh, I have. Increasingly, it's probably 10% in my experience, 10, 12%, these roles are switched. And the guy has married a shrew, a witch, a narcissistic, abusive woman. And it's even harder for the guy because it doesn't feel very manly when you're being beaten up or treated terribly, but it can easily go the other way.
I've heard about women beating men up.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
don't. They won't touch,
Right.
Good for him. He
Guy
won't.
just takes it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I talked to a pastor, in fact, a couple weeks ago, who had been through, he wrote his own book, his own personal story. Wow. Big, strapping guy. And his wife was all over him. He finally had enough, and God got him out. But it was hard for him because I'm a guy here. Come on.
I know Dr. Phil says you never strike a woman.
Ever.
Ever, yeah.
My dad taught me you only touch a woman with affection and love. That's it. Right.
God help you.
And you're right about the women being schooled, and many churches, we'll get into this, I'm sure, Arthelene, many churches teach, yeah, well, okay, once you're married, tough. I don't really care if you're being abused, and God doesn't care. Yes, God does care. He wants you to get out. That's not an excuse. So yeah, you can leave, and you should leave.
And you say 95% of the time that behavior will not stop.
Yeah, easily 95%. It's a characterological personality problem. Inbred, inborn, rarely do they change. Now, God can do anything, and I've seen some men, I kind of call them a true blue, dyed-in-the-wool narcissist. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But if it's a semi-narcissist, he's got traits, but there's some potential. When the woman leaves, he may break. God may give him a health condition. Sometimes they will come back, but yeah, it's a low percentage of those that do.
Yeah, so say she leaves and kind of, there are real answers in here, I'll tell you. And she follows a really good plan in here. Does the percentage drop after a wife has left and kind of followed this? Does it get less than 95% and the guy turns around? And
oh, well, you'll know right away after you leave. And when he knows you've left, oh yeah. There may be a week or two, maybe a couple of days of, oh please, I'm sorry. Okay, once he clears that and he knows you're not kidding, yeah, you're gonna get the real person. Furious beyond belief. And he will marshal the resources and he'll do everything he can to come after you and destroy you and smear your name. The few percent that don't do that, then you'll say, you know what, I love you, I've lost you, I'm realizing all this stuff. I'll go to 6 to 8 months of personal therapy, I'll talk to my pastor, I will fix myself, and then we're still separated, I will win you back. If it takes me 2 years, that's what I'll do. That's the kind of guy we're looking for. It's rare.
Yes, and that's exactly what you're looking for. You can't change overnight. Yeah. You know, Dr. Clarke, when I see these things in our society, it's getting coarser, it's getting meaner, it's getting more violent and all that. Boy, I keep going back to the so few fathers in the homes.
Yeah.
A lot of young people don't have a father.
Boy, they don't. Yeah.
And when you read the Bible, there's a whole lot more put on the father than the mother.
Oh yeah, the role of dad is so important. I was talking to a guy that does prison ministry. You know this, that the percentage of males in prison that didn't have a father, a present father, is astronomical. 95, 97%. Wow. Even if you don't end up going to prison without a dad, you're not taught what you need to learn.
Right.
So yeah, and then it's going to be about me.
Yes, and so when he gets married, he's had no role model, what a husband should be.
Right.
It said, give abuser possibility of reconciliation, and she might buckle if he's nice for a consistent 5 minutes. That's what you wrote.
Well, I gotta be careful of these ladies, you know, these dear souls. If he and he's a master liar. He's a manipulator par excellence. He'll cry. They can boo. I've had him cry in my office, and when I tell them to shut up, then they get mean. You test them. I can't believe. You know what? They're faking it. What I want is action. Your words don't mean anything. You've been saying this for 20 years, bozo. Now you're going to do something different. This, I give him a sheet of 20 things. I'm not going to do these things. Okay, then you can leave. I'm not fooling. I'm also modeling for the woman. Here's how you're supposed to treat him. I'm not going to waste my time with someone like that. When you've had 6 months of individual therapy and a group process, and you've fixed your addictions and all that, and you're in recovery, and you're walking with Jesus most of all, and proving it and serving in the church, okay, then we'll have a conversation about meeting as a couple. It's not a marriage case at that point. You've got changes to make.
Yes, and we've got women living with men. It's called fornication.
Yes,
and
it is.
The Bible's against it.
Yep. It never works.
And they're slow to leave.
They are. They're not even legally bound to the guy, and they don't want to leave. Well, of course, for women, especially when there's physical intimacy and there's a bond, and that's why God says wait until marriage, you're tied to this person. Of course, now you have a child or two, even harder. You still don't have to stay with them. That's why I wrote the book, helping them see I make my case as well as I can biblically, as well as what you're going through and the fact that God's okay with you getting out. Here's how, because it may take them months, may take up to a year to get out, but at least start the process.
You know, I've traveled a lot, been in ministry all my life, and been with superintendents and pastors, and they'll tell you, if there's something we need done in the church, we'll give it to the women. They'll do it. They'll do it.
Right.
what I think we need in churches is for great men's programs to be developed.
Yeah, we're missing that these days.
Yes. Do you
Very
remember
few.
Charlie Martin, who was at First
Yes,
Baptist?
outstanding.
He-
Indian Rocks? Indian Rocks?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Pastor Charlie Martin, who was in this area, First Baptist Church of Indian Rocks. He is in, I believe, North Carolina now or South Carolina.
I think so.
But he had very strong ministries and programs for men.
Yeah, smart. And that's biblical. If you can entice the men to come in, churches we've been in, yeah, that's, you have it for a while and then it kind of fades away. Women's programs seem to continue. Yeah, we need a change in that direction.
Yeah, they need to work hard on it. Really, it's
Because
important.
if we can have other men, this is part of my approach too, if we can find them other men to confront these guys that are abusing their wives, that can make a huge difference. If Bob and Sam come over and they say, hey, we've talked to your wife, you're out of line, and we'll help you, that could make a difference.
We'll help you, we'll be your friend.
And then and of course it's protective for the wife as well.
Okay, how do you define abuse? It's not all physical.
No, it's not. First of all, it's always a pattern. It's not just every now and then, it's consistent. Even with a man who blows up in a rage and hits you twice a year, that counts. There's no excuse for that. But it's usually much more often than that. So I call it a pattern of narcissistic, harmful and disrespectful behavior exhibited by one spouse or one partner in a romantic relationship. Narcissistic because it's incredibly self-centered. It's all about me. I married you, Arthelene, and it's all about me. I don't have to meet, I could care less about your needs. I mean, think about your needs. I'll make my radar screen. You're to meet my needs every day, all the time. And you never do a good enough job. And I'm gonna tell you that over and over again. So and there's many examples of narcissism. I spend the money the way I want, I say whatever I want, I do whatever I want. You raise the kids, you take care of things I don't want to do. You might even take out the trash. These guys are so lazy and selfish. So that's a hallmark of it, of course. Then, of course, it's the disrespect just knows no ends. Usually tremendous criticism, never good enough, cutting personal remarks. You're too fat, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too thin, you're a lousy housewife, you can't take care of the kids right, I hate your family. I mean, never in public, because their reputation's important to them. I might even hold your hand and have my arm around you and say, this is my queen, in public. Soon as the door shuts, oh.
Gentlemen, my name is hypocrite.
Exactly. I'll wipe my feet on you. Oh, they're horrible. So, and of course it's harmful. It's damaging to the woman. It's literally killing her. I've known women that have literally died. They've gone into the hospital, their insides are chewed up, they're stressed out of their minds, anxiety disorders, physical problems, spiritual malaise. It's just awful. It's killing them. God's not in favor of that, like you said at the beginning of the show. Never in favor of that.
Now, you used a biblical couple as an illustration, and Nabal and Abigail. He was an abuser.
Oh, yeah.
He was horrible.
Awful. The scripture is clear. It's only a few sentences, but it is clear. Selfish, abusive. His response to David when he asked for reasonable help, and David's men had already helped him out in the season with the sheep and all this and in his fields. No, just awful. And Abigail had put up with that for we don't know how long, but long enough. I think it's a wonderful example of God saying, you know what, here's an actual story, actual people, and he allowed Abigail to escape. And in that day, as you know, it's like the Middle East these days.
Yes.
She had no options. It was an impossible situation. You raise your voice, he could have killed her in front of the whole town or the village.
And it would have been
made any
perfectly
difference.
fine.
Fine, it would have applauded. She'd had enough, and she was an extraordinary woman. She was a sweetheart. She was industrious. She loved the Lord. And she took steps in that story that you could never conceive of taking as a woman in that day. Took tremendous risks. But God was with her, of course, every step of the way.
And I think that God was controlling David, because he would have taken him out
I know.
in a split second.
You know, you read that story and you're going, God, let him go. Let David do it.
But even then, Abigail was so in tune with the Lord. She said, don't.
She did.
She was saving this abusive husband in a way.
She was, even to the last, and protecting, of course, other people in the family. Oh, I know. And the way it worked out was wonderful. Of course, God just, of course, struck him down. But
But that story does have some very classic points in it that is true through the ages.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since it was.
Yeah. It's a wonderful template for any woman that's had enough, or man, and is ready to get out. All the things about Abigail and about Nabal, classic, and the steps she took. She created a support team. She took decisive action. Of course, it was all, bathed in prayer and God helping her. It was just wonderful.
Yeah, we just have a couple minutes, but I want to talk about what kind of personality of a woman who takes it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the kind say, hit me once, that's your last time.
That's what I'm picking up, Arthelene. You're a tough cookie. But so many ladies, they're usually born nurturers and to be supportive, and you're trained by the church and your own family to, of course, support your man. Mm-hmm. That's okay if he's a decent guy and he's loving you. If he's a dirtball, it's the exact wrong thing to do. Mm-hmm. But they keep doing it, and they're hoping, and once you have a child or two, okay, even worse.
Right.
I'm trying to protect what I have here. And also I'm not ready to go out on my own, because they want to make you dependent. I've had professional women, they're making a great living, but he still controls the money and they don't have any. Well, get your own account.
Yeah, and isn't there something in the woman, and often in Christian women, well, if I'll just change my behavior this way, he'll change.
Oh,
and
I know, yeah.
In that way, she is saying she's the problem.
Right. And plenty of pastors would agree with that. Tragically, they don't get it. Yeah, keep on loving him and meeting his needs, and you know what? One day, we don't know when, maybe not soon, maybe soon, he'll wake up and be a changed guy. No, he won't. You're enabling him. He'll never stop. So it's the exact wrong point of view. And biblically, it's his job to meet your needs. That's never brought up in those sessions.
Yes, and to take care of you, and sometimes it's just the opposite.
Right.
We're out of time.
Man, that was fast.
That was very fast, but we've had the website up. And we've been talking about his newest book. It's just hot off the press, Enough is Enough. I've read it. It's got some amazing information in it. And it's kind of, I think, some of your bullet points like a cafeteria.
Yeah.
This applies to me. This one might not so much
Right.
and all. So we're out of time, but I got good news for you. He'll be on next month. And we hear him a lot with Janet Parshall. You're on there once a month.
I am.
Boy, we're probably going to have to be, worrying if we can book you or not. But
don't worry.
Good. But I'm so delighted to bring this great information to you. But we are out of time. But join me next time, remembering there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.